Okay. Okay. So this thing says it's live. We'll see. I promised you yesterday that I would talk today about getting out of your mind. It's like, I swear, well, first of all, to be a court reporter, we kind of have to be out of our minds. And we kind of don't really know what we're getting into, like 99.9% of us, unless you grew up in a household of court reporters or you have one living across the street. You really don't know what you got into. But there was enough of a commitment that you're into it and you've stayed however far you are in your journey. And there are a lot of actual writing, working reporters on this site now. And so um, I'm hoping in their busy lives they can chime in once in a while and just say, something encouraging. Keep going. Wish I'd done it 5 years sooner. Wish I'd known then what I know now. I would have been out sooner. Anything that's encouraging. Generic is always better. Think of it as if you don't know what audience you're talking to, but generically what worked for you. So we're not talking about machines, we're not talking about theory, we're not talking about schools, we're not talking about specific practices unless somebody asks. So off my soapbox. How to get out of your mind to write fast. And I'm going to have to talk fast because I got a depot coming up here real quick, and I got an intern sitting in with me, and so I'm going to have fun. I'm going to not be alone today in my job, for which I have a folder, because every job has a folder and every folder has a job, and there's all my info in there. And I already set up my job last night, so all I got to do is start a real-time job, and I'm off to the races. No, metaphorically, hopefully not literally. So there are all kinds of things that slow us down in writing. The number one thing on a daily basis is the chatter in your brain. And I know for tests, that seems to be the thing that occurs, on a 5-minute test, it occurs at about 2 minutes in. And then it rears its ugly head for about a minute in different ways. It could be just different thought patterns. It could be distracting you to the point that you drop and you get off your focus. And then when it's finally convinced you that you have not passed, there's no way you could pass this test, you've already failed, then your writing goes back to being miraculously wonderful. Because it's not about the writing, because you have the speed, you have the skills. The stuff that happens in the middle is the stuff that we actually need to work on. But most schools will tell you, well, you're not practicing enough. Well, if what's happening in the middle is a mental process that throws you off your game, then how is practicing more, not in a test situation, going to make that better? How? You're just going to get better at the first 2 minutes and the last 2 minutes, and the middle is still going to be difficult. So I'm going to do this very generically because I've got videos out there, and I will have more. And if I ever have more than 2 or 3 people ask me the same question, I'll always, even if I've already done one, do another video on that subject. And I'm not the authority on everything, but I do know what I know, and I know what I've seen work. And if I try something with a student and it does not work, which leaves them in no worse position than they were in when they started, I will try that 2 or 3 times with different students. And if it does not work, it goes out for a while until I get with one of my masters, one of my neuroscience people, and figure out why it didn't work and how to make it work, or how to tweak it around so that it gives us the results we want. The chattery mind, I'm going to call it, the voice in the room, when you're doing a 2 voice and now you have a 3 voice, and don't ever open your mind to try to talk to that thing with even an inner voice with words, because now you've got 4 voices in the room. You just keep adding to the party. To get rid of it, if you need to, basically, if you need to say, shut the F up, get out of here, I'm taking a test, leave me alone, stop talking, I can't hear the other speakers when you're chattering at me, have some kind of a nonverbal cue. For some people, their shoulders go up to their ears. With me, I crunch my toes because my toes aren't doing anything else, but I've practiced. That's my sign, and it goes through my body. Shut the F up. I'm in a situation and I don't need you chattering. But there are all kinds of things we can do ahead of time to make that thing less obnoxious. I'm going to rattle them off, and then you'll understand why this is such a hard topic for all of us. The number one way to get rid of the chatter in your mind is to meditate. Okay, I hear you out there. I understand. But that means you're not meditating the right way, which is not as painful as we all think. And actually, 1 minute a day, it's not going to get you enlightenment. It's not going to take you to nirvana, but it will take you to that place where you can write more effectively without the voices in your head being obstreperous to what you're trying to do on the record. Number one way. Number two way is to understand that part of your brain compared to the other part of your brain. Chattery brain, quiet brain, loud brain, soft brain. Brain that wants to analyze everything. Brain that knows we don't need to analyze everything. Brain that fears everything. Brain that fears nothing. Brain that needs to be in control of everything. Brain that understands there is no control. Everything's okay. There are no right decisions. Life is good. Just enjoy it. This part will have none of that, because if everything was fine and there was no threat and there was no problem, then it thinks it has no purpose and you'll get rid of it, which is kind of impossible, but it's kind of stupid that way sometimes too, and it's lazy. It wants everything to be the way it was yesterday, and that means you go to school, you take the test, you failed the test, you cry, it doesn't care, let's do it again tomorrow, because that means you're not taking chances, you're not taking risks, you're not going to get out of school and have to go then face the horrible unknown. And it fears the unknown above all other things. It wants everything today just like it was yesterday, which is why it's so important to wake up first thing in the morning and be on top of that shit. So, meditating, understanding who's talking, and that this is the part you can trust. This is where your steno dictionary is stored, for crying out loud. This is what's going to drive the race car. This is the machine behind the machine. If you can keep the mechanics out of the room when there's no problem with the machine. But you need me. Well, I might, but not right now, and not in a test. So, know which part is talking. Know how to meditate to not attach to the words when they're coming through at you. And I love this because I've been on this, practicing it every single freaking day. No, I don't like it. No, it's not fun. No, I can't see results immediately. No, I can't see progress, but I know if I keep doing it, it's going to get better. And guess what? The other day, I'm writing along in a job, and I almost feel that feeling of, oh, here comes the chatter, but it didn't make a sound. Not in my head, not in the room, and all of a sudden, it felt like, and I looked up, and it was like it had left me a text message, like in words above my head. And for a moment, I was pissed because I thought, oh, you sneaky thing. And then I thought, oh, this is wonderful, because it's just like when I get a text on my phone while I'm working, I can look over. If it doesn't say death or fire, I ignore it. And so I ignored it. And it was amazing. And I thought, well, this will work. You can communicate to me. I can listen to you when I want to, and it's not another voice in the room interrupting. So that's not going to happen for you instantaneously. If it does, let me know, because we need to reverse engineer what you did to get to that result. The last thing you can do, well, there are others, but for you guys, is to have a discussion with the chattery part of your brain and basically tell it, look, Buster, you have proved that you can't shut up when I'm taking the tests, so you don't get to go in the test with me. You have to go in the other room. I mean, like, so totally far away that even if you talked, I could not hear you. Or put a protective bubble around you that keeps all chattery noises out for the time duration of your test. And it's always a safe, kind of protective place to feel like you are also. But for that chattery part, we don't want it going too far away, and you need to have the conversation with it. And I'm going to do it and say, look, 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 look. I don't want to hurt your feelings. And I'm not going to get rid of you. You may need a new job because what you're doing is actually not helping. And I know you want to help so that I adore you and value you and won't kick you to the curb. Okay? But because what you're doing is not helping. You are not, I'm sorry, the fastest brain in the room. You can process at 126 bits of information per second, and oh, Lord knows I know you can talk fast because I could never write down what you're saying as fast as you say it. But there's this other part that's very quiet and shy and knowing, and that's where all the hundreds and thousands of words, the combinations of sounds and phrases and things, that it's all been downloaded into the subconscious. And I'm going to use she because I am female, but it doesn't matter. Call it, call it they, call it whatever. Call it the magic. Can write faster than we can think. It can hear faster than we can hear. It can process 126 bits of information per second up here. 2 million bits of information can be processed through your subconscious. It's the part that finds the parking places. It's the part that knows the phone's going to ring. It's just the part that, if we would unleash it and not be afraid of it, could change our lives. It's our intuition, it's our knowing, it's our compass, it's our direction, and it's our freaking steno on fire. So when we're taking a test, we need to let that part be writing behind the machine, and without telling it how to do that, without us telling it, you better remember the briefs, because when you say that, it triggers the chatter to say, oh, I'll be on the alert for that. I'll watch out to make sure he or she doesn't miss the briefs, because they're always doing that. And then they'll turn around and write it out. And then they'll use the brief again. And then they'll turn around and write it out a different way. Can you believe it? Just make it stop. Or I'm just going to chatter. And I have to interrupt. It's like a little tattletale. It's like, no, I'm sorry. You're not good at this. You're not going to be on this team. We love you. You have to be on a different team. So out of the room during the dictation. Now, here's the team where you're not just the captain, you're the whole sponsor of the team. It's when we go in to transcribe that test. That subconscious is going to have given us, if we stay out of its way, the most amazing, beautiful, trustworthy notes that have ever been written. And we are now going to produce a transcript. And that's when I need you, chattery brain. That's when I have the luxury of being able to listen to you. And even then, when you think to yourself, there's a brief for that, fine, go make a list. Remind me later. Now is not the time even to talk about that. But I know you're going to remember the punctuation, and you're going to remember the spelling, and you're going to be the thing that nudges me loudly and tells me, nope, trust your notes. Go read that again. You left something out. There's something missing. Oh, there's something missing. Perhaps I dropped a word. We're not going to make it up. We are going to trust our notes. When I can't trust my notes, when I am just not sure, I will ask. I will call a friend. I will call my chattery brain. What do you think? Is that a plural? Is that not a plural? We got a 50-50 chance here. I'm going to go with your call. Tell me what it is. We're going to check on you later. Unless it's the California CSR and they don't let you check on what you did, so you can make it better. Yeah, that's a whole nother video. Okay, so chattery brain. There are other ways to get in control of that thing, not the least of which is, yeah, we can in hypnosis go back and find out, what age did that thing start? Probably about 7. What does it think its purpose is? Like, what is it trying to do? Because is it trying and accomplishing what it thinks it's trying to do? Or is it just kind of effing around? Like, I'm going to keep trying everything, and sooner or later you're going to think I'm important and keep me. Guess what? I kind of have to keep you. You're the beta waves in my head. You are the conscious awareness that came online when I was about 7 years old, which is wonderful on one hand. That's my dog squeaking over there on the other paw. And then there's the other part that, you weren't chattery brain. You didn't exist until I was about 7 years old. So you're just a tool in the mental toolbox. You're not who I am. And honest to God, when that thing came online for me, I was about 8 years old. I think it happens sooner for court reporters. We're just aware. We just are. We're hyper vigilant. We're on top of everything. We have to know all the information, what's going on, who's going to do what. And some people say that, oh, you're a control freak. No, I'm an information junkie. I want to know what's happening so I can keep me safe and I can make everybody else out there happy. And then I am safe. And that's a whole nother video. But that kind of is who most of us are. Not a bad thing. Just we need to understand where to come from, what's trying to do, why are we that way, and do we want to change any of it? So my chattery brain came online when I was about 8 years old, but with me, it went rogue. It was like it just took over. For a moment, it was like it looked around and said, well, I see that there are no functioning, rational, healthy parents here that are parenting you, but don't worry. I'll do that for you. I will keep you safe. I will protect you and make sure that no harm comes to you. Because if harm comes to me, I kept thinking, oh, isn't that sweet? If harm comes to me, if I got no body, I think I'm an eternal being, so I'm going to be fine. But that part, my ego, the voice, the chatter, it's got no place to live without me being in a body safe the next day. Oh my God, this is weird stuff. So that thing came online and it told me, I will keep you safe. And by God, it did. It said, you will never take a risk. You will not put yourself out there. You will not open your mouth and say stupid things in front of people because you'll be humiliated. You'll be embarrassed. You'll be dropped down in status. If you just keep your mouth shut, they don't know what you're thinking. So, and don't ever try to do something that you don't know that you can accomplish completely. How the hell did we get in court reporting school? Because there's the doubt every single day, and we're fighting that thing every single day. Whole nother video. Anyway, I hope that has helped about how to get rid of your chattery mind. That's the how, or the what. It's the what you can do, but it's not exactly the details of the how, because we don't have like 6 hours here to go through that, and to go through some exercises and to convince you that there are things you can do on a daily basis that will make a difference. Because so many of you think that you show up and it's like, well, I should be able to like have a new thought and make it all better. And sometimes that can work. If the thought we get rid of is the belief that you've attached to, and we let it go and it's gone and there's nothing else holding you back, you're free. You are out of here, and one thought will change your life. Changing one thought, changing one belief. But for most of us, this is a physical endeavor, and it takes practice, and repetition, and your brain learns. I got a job starting. Your brain learns by repetition, always. And so, let me get over. Oh my God, my computer just decided to reboot. No, you didn't. Yes, it did. Oh my God. Okay, these are the things that happen, which is why Carrie always starts early. Okay, we will come back to this subject when I'm not so worried about what the hell is going on with my computer where my Zoom shows up. And I'm going to find my job, and life is going to be okay. And let me put the date in so I can find it. 323. All right, I just feel safer with you guys here with me going through this. Okay, I love you. Talk to your brain. You have my permission to look like a crazy person when you're by yourself, because it will help. Katie, hi, hi there. Oh, and Veronica, love you guys. And whoever's watching, have a great day. I'm gonna, bye. Positive thoughts. Ah.